Hello to everyone. This task corresponds to cycle task 4, final evaluation, in which we are going to look at the Toefl test. First, we will see what is the purpose of this exam. The purpose of the Toefl exam is to evaluate the English proficiency of people who are not native English speakers. Furthermore, international companies, government agencies, and scholarship programs and recruitment agencies use the Toefl scores to evaluate the English proficiency of students. Now we will look at question number 2. What kind of people can take the exam? Well, people whose native language is not English. They are required to take this exam so they can enter colleges and universities in different countries. Question number 3. What is the main goal of the exam? The main goal of the Toefl exam is to give a standardized result score which can be reliable for all institutions, companies, and agencies as they demonstrate the English level of both students and workers. It assesses how well students can combine the different skills to do academic tasks successfully. Question number 4. What are the most significant characteristics of the exam? We have lots of characteristics about the Toefl test. It is a tool to test undergraduate, graduate, and postgraduate students' ability to communicate in English as an entrance requirement to their programs. It is the most highly regarded and widely accepted test in all the world. More than 6,000 colleges, universities, and agencies in 130 countries accept Toefl score. Toefl's test is the most accessible English language test. It is also administered in more than 4,500 test centers in 180 countries. It is developed and administered by the ETS, Educational Testing Service, a non-profit educational organization. It is a valid and reliable test with unbiased objective scoring, so it confirms that the student has the skills necessary to succeed in an academic setting. It also measures how well students use English, not only their knowledge of the language, but also the use of the language. Another characteristic of the Toefl test is that examination is currently administered in 3 different formats: the paper-based Toefl, PBT, the computer-based Toefl, CBT, and the next generation Toefl. The language proficiency skills are tested on every format, but they are tested in different ways. The Toefl IBT replaces the Toefl computer-based and the paper-based version of the test. The Toefl PBT and CBT. The Toefl PBT paper-based test is the original Toefl test. It was replaced by the CBT computer-based test, which was also replaced by the IBT internet-based test. The CBT has been discontinued, and the PBT is still offered at selected locations. The new Toefl IBT differs in important ways from previous versions of the test. The Toefl test has been changing for some reasons. So here we have the different reasons why it has been changing. To measure the ability to communicate successfully in an academic setting. Next, to reflect how language is really used. Also, to keep with the best practices in language learning and teaching. Some tasks require test takers to combine more than one skill. Read, listen, and then speak in response to a question. Listen and then speak in response to a question. Read, listen, and then write in response to a question. The new Toefl test includes a speaking section which includes 6 tasks using headphones and microphones when giving responses. This new test is about 4 hours long and all sections are completed in 1 day. Note taking is allowed in any section of the test and can be used when answering the questions. Notes should be destroyed before leaving. The test can be taken as many times necessary. And the Toefl test you can take will depend on the requirements of the school or the agency to which you are applying. Now we will see question number 5. What skills are evaluated through the exam? This test evaluates the skills of speaking, reading, writing, and listening to the English language in the educational environment. It evaluates Section 1, Listening Comprehension. It measures the ESL students' ability to understand spoken English. Purposes: listening for basic comprehension, listening for pragmatic understanding, connection and synthesizing information. Description: listening material includes academic lecture and long conversations. Then we have Section 2, Speaking. Academic speaking skills. The speaking section measures students' ability to speak effectively in academic setting. Description of the setting. The speaking section is approximately 20 minutes long and includes 6 tasks. The first 2 are independent speaking tasks on familiar topics, and the other 4 are integrated tasks where they use more than one skill at a time. Section 3, Vocabulary and Reading Comprehension. It measures the ESL students' ability to understand non-technical reading material. What are the purposes? Reading to find information, basic comprehension, reading to learn. Description of this section. The Toefl IBT uses reading passages from university-level textbooks which cover a variety of different topics. All passages are classified in 3 categories: for exposition, argumentation, and historical passages. Then we have Section 4, Essay Writing. It measures the students' ability to express ideas in standard written English. Question number 6. Give a clear and wide explanation about the type of questions the exam has and what the score is you can get, the lowest and the highest one. Give an explanation about the results. Well, as we noticed, the Toefl IBT is characterized by many of the question types used in the computer-based test. The most distinguishing feature of the new question type is that they integrate or combine 2 or more skills. This means that test takers need to read, listen, and then speak in response to a question. Listen and then speak in response to a question. Read, listen, and then write in response to a question. At the same time, Toefl IBT reading questions cover basic information skills, inferencing skills, and reading to learn skills. Here are the 3 categories of types of Toefl IBT reading questions. Basic information and inferencing questions, 11 to 13 questions per set. So we have factual information questions, like 3 to 6 questions per set. Negative factual information questions, 0 to 2 questions per set. Inference questions, 0 to 2 questions per set. Rhetorical purpose questions, 0 to 2 questions per set. Vocabulary questions, 3 to 5 per set. Reference questions, 0 to 2 questions per set. Sentence simplification questions, 0 to 1 question per set. Insert text questions, 0 to 1 question per set. Reading to learn questions, 1 per set. Prose summary, and filling in a table. Now we are going to look at the scores for the Toefl test. We have 4 skills, score range, and the levels. So for the reading skill, the score range is 0 to 30 points. Level, for the high level, it would be like 22 to 30 points. Intermediate, 15 to 21. And a low score would be 0 to 14. Then for the listening skill, also we have a total of 30 score. High, 22 to 30. Intermediate, 14 to 21. And low, 0 to 13. For the speaking skill, we have 30 point score. Good, 26 to 30. Fair, 18 to 25. Limited, 10 to 17. week 0 to 9. And for the last scale, the writing scale, we have also 30 points for score, good 24 to 30, fair 17 to 23, limited 1 to 16, score of 0, for a total of score of 120 points. These new questions measure the ability to use English to communicate effectively and succeed in an English-speaking academic environment. The test is given in English with 4 sections of questions. So we have the reading section with a time limit 60 to 100 minutes. Number of questions 36 to 70. In the listening section, we have a time limit of 60 to 90 minutes. Number of questions 34 to 51. In the speaking section, we have time limit 20 minutes. Number of questions 6 tasks. And in the writing section, we have a time limit of 50 minutes. Number of questions 2 tasks. This was the presentation of all the characteristics about the Toefl test. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.